Ms. Ellis, I know you have the one, Mr. Brown that had connected audio, and I apologize for how slow I'm moving with this stupid program, but that's where we are. And then I had to shut it down because it froze. So, council, are we good with the second hearing for September 22nd?
Yep,
Yeah.
we're good with at 9:10.
9:10, yes.
Yep, and I already told Mr. Morris that, and he already paid. We just need to verify that it cleared.
Okay, all right, I just need to figure out how to change it in the system that your client, or that Mr. Brown is present. So
I did
apologize
update
for
our
that,
notes
Mr.
in
Brown.
case, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. I do apologize, Mr. Brown. I'm sorry, not Mr. Brown, Mr. Morris. You weren't connected to
either one
audio
is
for a
good.
while. I'm sorry, what?
Yep. Yeah, either one was good. I'm new to the Zoom, so I didn't even know what to do.
Okay. All right, well, don't take this the wrong way, but hopefully we won't see you next week. You'll have it all resolved and then you'll be good to go. Okay?
Quick question. If it is resolved, do I have to show up for the Zoom meeting, or would it just be resolved on its own?
Mr. Morris, you can call my office on Monday and we'll let you know if we submitted the dismissal.
Okay, cool. That'd be good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, and then Detective, we can proceed on yours. And then I'll call your mother, okay? Mr. Ross and Ms. Bardoni, yeah, okay. All right, let's go on the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Brandon Boyd, 232069. And Detective, your name please for the record.
Detective Devin Geiger, Wyandotte Police Department.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear from testimony about to give this matter to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you. You may proceed on the board.
On August 27, 2023, approximately 1 in the morning, Wyandotte officers responded to 1144 to have 711, a report of a disorderly person and threats. Officers spoke with a Daniel Riding who reported that he was there visiting a cashier acquaintance of his, Dominic Ferrante. While there, an ex-boyfriend named Brandon David Boyd arrived and was causing issues and threatening Mr. Ridings. Ms. Ferrante pleaded that Mr. Riding leave. At that point, Mr. Riding then proceeded to go towards the Wyandotte Police Department, where Mr. Boyd continued to follow him in a 2002 Jeep Cherokee. Mr. Ridings called police, and at that point, he lost contact of Mr. Boyd. Officers responded back to 711 to speak to Ms. Ferrante, where she corroborated the report that Mr. Ridings reported that Mr. Boyd arrived and was threatening them. Mr. Ferrante stated that he also threatened physical harm, death upon Ferrante, and Mr. Ridings reported that Boyd was reaching into his center console, acting as if he had a weapon. While officers were speaking with the witnesses, the 2002 Jeep Cherokee was observed traveling past the 711 location and speeding away in a quick manner. Ms. Ferrante identified the driver as being Brandon David Boyd. Officer Morgan Gordaki proceeded after the vehicle as it abruptly turned onto northbound 13th Street. Officer Gordaki was fully clothed in a Wyandotte police uniform, was also in a police Chevy Tahoe, fully adorned with Wyandotte police stickers, lights, and sirens. He activated his lights as the vehicle proceeded northbound. The 2002 Cherokee, driven by Mr. Boyd, disregarded all traffic signals and devices while traveling all the way through Lincoln Park on Harrison, then onto 4th Street. Vehicles at some points exceeded speed limits over 100 miles an hour. The chase ensued and continued on into northbound I-75, and eventually on the Southfield Freeway towards 96. Officer Alex Stavkis was involved in the chase as a secondary vehicle and received a flat tire. Having the officers identify the driver, the fact that there was no other secondary officer, the pursuit was ordered to be terminated since Mr. Boyd has been identified. Prior to termination, Officer Garaki drove next to the vehicle and visually confirmed it was indeed Brandon David Boyd operating the motor vehicle. Mr. Boyd has several felony convictions to include felony weapons, carrying concealed, 3rd Circuit Court, where he pled guilty on August 24, 2014. Felony controlled substance possession of meth, ecstasy, 3rd Circuit Court, where he pled guilty, which on 3/1/2019. Felony police officer fleeing 4th degree pled guilty for the vehicle code, 1/5/2023. And he also has felony criminal sexual conduct 3rd degree, person of 13 to 15 years old, on August 13, 2018, which was deferred through high. He's also suspended with a prior conviction that occurred on August 17, 2015 with this vehicle. That'll be it here.
All right, thank you. Upon examination of the complaining witness, I find that the offenses charged were committed and that there's probable cause to believe the defendant committed those offenses. Would you like this returned or mailed?
We'll return.
Return, all right. The court will indicate a $50,000 10% bond. All right, thank you, counsel, or thank you, detective.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Mr. Perry,
Yes, Judge.
Is there a resolution?
Judge, it
Ms.
looks
Gale?
like Ms. Gale's not present. I don't know if she's trying to connect right
She was in a
now.
breakout. She was in a breakout.
I know, but I
room.
meant she's not present with us right now.
No, I understand that, and waiting, I requested for her to come back to the main session, so I'm just waiting for that to happen. I was just wondering if there was a resolution,
Well,
so I knew what was happening.
oh. Well, I just don't want to have any ex parte communications, Judge, that's all. I'd prefer just to wait for the defendant to be present.
I can appreciate that, counsel. I wasn't asking for any ex parte communications. I was just wondering whether or not there was a resolution between you and Ms. Gale, so I knew if we were going to hold the hearing or not. That's all.
We need to move forward with the hearing, Judge.
Okay. Good morning.
Keep going.
Say good morning.
Good morning. Oh, good morning.
Good morning. That's fine.
I'm afraid of falling again.
Okay, well, that's why we're going to have you sit. We're not going to have you stand, okay? All right, so let's go on the record in the matter of Asset Acceptance LLC versus Clista Gale, 101911.
Good morning, Judge.
Counsel?
Andrew Perry, 369-402 on behalf of plaintiff.
Thank you. Ma'am, your name for the record, please.
Calista M. Gale.
Okay, and Mr. Perry is on Zoom and you can see him and hear him, correct? Okay. So, Mr. Perry, can you see and hear? Actually, Terry, we have to move the camera to her. So, Mr. Perry, can you hear Ms. Gale?
Yes, Judge, I can hear Ms. Gale.
All right, and we are adjusting the camera so that you can see her also.
Thank you.
Okay, so counsel, the parties were here on July 28th. And this was adjourned so that your client could investigate Ms. Gale's source of income. Because Ms. Gale indicated her only source of income was Social Security. Is that not letting you move the camera?
Yeah, Judge, that's my understanding as well. This garnishment dates back to, I think the issue dates back to March or April, and there's been several adjournments. She filed an objection claiming that the funds in the bank account are exempt. She didn't attach her bank records to the objection, so we couldn't look at the records to determine whether the funds are in fact exempt. She indicated during our conversation earlier today that last Thursday or Friday, she faxed the records to us. I don't have them. I didn't receive them. I'm not sure if she gave the court a copy, but still we don't have the records. So I don't know if the funds are exempt or not exempt.
That started moving in. Whatever you're doing started moving in.
Actually, I'm trying to look at it.
I know, I'll let you know, yeah, whatever you were doing was starting to move it. Okay, so.
We actually
Counsel-
sent a letter to requesting the information. At the last hearing, Judge, I believe you ordered her to produce the records to us. We didn't receive the records, so I then sent a letter to Ms. Gale asking for the records, and we still don't have them.
Okay, Ms. Gale,
Yes,
did you receive the letter?
I did receive a letter and they had some forms to fill out. We filled them out and we faxed it to the office. There was a fax number on the top. We thought it would get it quicker.
Okay. So do you have a copy of that?
Not here, but at home. Yes, I do.
Okay, well, you should have brought that with you here today, since today is the court date for it.
Yeah.
Counsel, she's indicating that she sent them to the fax number that was provided on there, where she said it was to the office.
Well, Judge, we don't have the records. Perhaps in the interest of fairness, so everyone can see the record and know what's going on. We don't want to take funds that are exempt. And I mean, it's her obligation to provide the proof
Hold on,
of
counsel,
what's
hold
in
on,
the
please, hold
account.
on, counsel.
But I think we should adjourn.
Counsel, please hold on just one moment. Please hold on just one moment. I cannot have you speaking at the table there because Mr. Perry was speaking and we're doing the recording there. And I can't have multiple people speaking because then we don't get the recording. Okay, so please, refrain from having a conversation right there. I'm sorry, counsel, you couldn't hear they were talking, but I could hear they were talking and it was affecting our record. So I was trying to get you to stop talking and I don't think you could hear me, so I had to elevate my voice.
Yeah, no problem, Judge. So long story short, Judge, I think this case should be adjourned yet again. So we can receive a copy of the bank records and the court as well. The court should receive a copy of the bank records as well. So because the court should be able to look at the records and, you know, in the end, you're gonna make the determination whether the funds are exempt. So we need the bank records to see what's in the bank at the time the garnishment hit.
Judge,
Yes,
we live a short way home. My husband would go home and get those papers. The copies that we have and bring it back to you if you want that.
well, that would be helpful for the court, but Mr. Perry still wouldn't have a copy of them.
Tell them that you gave that stuff to the clerk here.
Yeah, we gave a whole bunch of stuff to the clerk here.
Did you give a copy of the bank records that you sent to the defendant?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, what I have here is a checking account balance statement, documentation from Social Security, a garnishment hold notification, another checking account summary, bank account, and then another one, it's a different month. And so, ma'am, I do see that we have this. However, Mr. Perry has to have an opportunity to review those as well. And I don't know how many months he requested from you in that regard. This appears to be 2 or 3 months that we have here in the file. So we can adjourn this to October 13th. And counsel, I think it would be best if this was in person. So that, there can be an exchange of discussion and an exchange of any documentation if there needs to be.
Yeah, Judge, that's not a problem. I'll make sure that I appear at the next hearing. So, Judge, just to clarify too, for the bank record, so this matter hopefully isn't adjourned again and we can resolve at the next hearing. I just pulled up the garnishment disclosure and the account number is listed on the disclosure that indicates, what account was seized. And
I
it looks
can,
like,
excuse me, counsel, just a moment, please. I cannot have you having a discussion right there while the attorney is talking. Because that microphone right there is picking up what you're saying and it's affecting our record that we need to have, okay?
Well, my husband keeps pointing to this.
I understand that, but I can't have you having a discussion over there while the attorney is talking. I'll give you an opportunity to speak again, but I can't have you talking there while the attorney is talking on the record, okay?
Well, I asked if he wanted to get those papers that we have at home.
Ma'am, first, I just need you to understand, I cannot have you talking while the attorney is talking.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. And continue, please, counsel.
yeah, sure, Judge. I'm just pointing out the fact that the records that we're looking for are for the account that was garnished, the account number that ends in 5695. So I was hoping that helps clarify the issue and the records that we need to look at to determine, what was in that account, because that's the account that was garnished.
Okay, did you hear that, ma'am? Because what I'm looking at doesn't appear to have those last 4 digits on it with the bank account that you provided to the court. Okay, and so what else was it, ma'am, that you wanted the court to know?
I'm not gonna say anything anymore.
No, ma'am, hold on, excuse me, sir, hold on just a moment, please.
She's not.
I
Ma'am,
don't have
I'm
any
not,
account.
I'm not saying that you cannot make any statements. I wasn't saying that. You cannot make any statements while the attorney is also talking because we have a recording that we're required to keep. And if too many people are talking, it's not an accurate record.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what did you indicate? You don't have that account anymore?
I can't hear you. What did you say?
The account that ends in the 5695.
Right, it was a small,
You don't have it no more.
I don't have it. It's gone. Was in the bank, gone.
Okay, so then what you're going to have to do then is you're going to have to show Mr. Perry which account that money is now in, or which account you now have for that money, and have a discussion as to that, and show him those bank accounts. Did you hear that, Mr. Perry, regarding that bank account that is listed on the garnishment?
Yeah, Judge, but the issue is we need to find out what was in that account at the time it was garnished. We got to determine whether those funds in 5695, when the garnishment hit back in April of 23, whether those funds are exempt. So we need to get the records on that account from that date.
Ma'am, when did that account close?
When was it closed?
Yes,
Let's see, the bank, probably in August.
so just last month?
Yeah.
Okay, then you're going to have to go to the bank to get that account so that you can show Mr. Perry those funds as of April, but you might want to go a couple months before that also.
Yeah,
So you have to go into the bank to get those documents if you don't already have them.
from Chase.
Yes, if you don't already have them, you're gonna have to go get them. Okay? October 13th at 11:15 in person.
Hey, Judge, I actually have an appointment that morning. It's going to be a little tight for me to get down to Wyandotte. Can we either pick a different date or maybe go in the afternoon?
We can do the afternoon at 1:30 in the afternoon.
That works, Judge. Thank you.
Does that work for you, ma'am? And sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Court is calling 2023 CR 5468, State of Texas versus Johnny Joe Aguirre. Can I have the parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state.
Defense?
Renee Munoz on behalf of Johnny Aguirre.
Are you Mr. Aguirre?
Yes.
Counsel, you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, and I did, Your Honor.
Mr. Aguirre, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Mr. Aguirre, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams? That's a second degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
That is correct, Judge.
Mr. Aguirre, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, there's a $500 fine to be probated. State recommends deferred adjudication. They're taking in consideration 703-653, 716-121, and there's $57 restitution to SAPD for drug testing. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 5 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 200 hours community service restitution, no contact with Walmart at 8923 West Military, San Antonio, Texas, 78245, 6550 Enrique M. Barrera Parkway, San Antonio, Texas, 78201. There's a referral to felony drug court when there's room, DDRF, regular UAs, and sober support meetings. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Fine.
State any evidence?
Your Honor, I offer State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
No objection.
Mr. Aguirre, I'm showing you what's entitled wavering consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments. Court has reviewed the same. The court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
If we may, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Judge. I mean, at this time, he is currently homeless. I know the state was in agreement with probating the $500. We would ask, if possible, minimum monthly supervision fees. He's still trying to get back up on his feet. He's not currently residing at a shelter, but he's looking into Haven for Hope. And he's also working to get coordinated with the Center for Healthcare Services. We were looking at a potential mental health court referral, but it seems that the Center for Healthcare Services referral is still good. So he's going to be working on that as well, Judge, and hopefully get evaluated, set up with medication, as well as case management.
All right. You believe he's competent?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Aguirre, when's the last time you had employment?
I was self-employed.
Doing
up
what?
to November. I did pest control, lawn service, handyman work, and and street trimming.
Okay. How far did you go in school?
I did some college.
Okay. Why did you stop?
I don't know what I was going, that was maybe like 18 years ago, I'm not sure.
All right. How did you end up where you are now?
I'm sorry.
How did you end up where you are now? Like, why did you start using drugs?
My brother got killed
Okay. And when did that happen?
a year ago.
Okay. So do you have any family support?
My father,
Do you have any children?
3,
What are their ages?
15, 13, and I'm not sure about the youngest one.
All right. When's the last time you saw them?
I would say about 4 years ago, but I've never seen the smallest one.
When's the last time you used?
Nothing, like 3 days ago.
All right. And are you using meth?
Yes,
How often?
almost every day.
Okay. All right. Mr. Aguirre. Honestly, it appears to the court that you need inpatient treatment. Do you agree with that?
No,
But I mean, you're using every day.
I know.
That's a problem because let me just tell you, depending on where you are in your sobriety, nobody wants inpatient treatment,
Right.
depending on where you are, because they're saying, I'm going to be inpatient. I want to still live my life. But if you continue on the path that you're continuing on, you may not live much longer because you may end up getting bad drugs and overdosing, or something else may end up happening to you. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule you for a TAP evaluation, and it'll just be a TAP probation. And that's going to take place while you're in custody. And how long should the TAP evaluation take, probation? All right, so they're going to do a TAP evaluation on you in custody. I'm going to have them hold you in custody, and we're going to bring you back in 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to let you know if it's going to be an inpatient treatment. And I know you're probably feeling bad and how dare the judge do this, but actually I'm trying to save you,
I
okay?
understand. Can I say something?
Sure.
So I did adult and teen challenge here in San Antonio. It's a year long. I did it for 4 months,
Mhm.
and I felt like I was ready to come out. I couldn't, something about being held somewhere, I couldn't do it. But I've done other drugs my whole life,
Mhm.
and I never say I quit because I consider that a lie if I go back and do it. But I have stopped, and I've stopped a lot longer than 4 months.
Okay. All right. So even though felony drug court is full, I'm going to see if possibly, well, if you could please call felony drug court and beg them.
Yes, sir. We're speaking with the state about the issue of the drug usage, Your Honor, and we're thinking maybe lifetime recovery, something that he can get his bearings on so he can be successful with probation. So. But
Well, I'm going to recall this in 2 weeks. So this is what we'll do. Counsel, if you can check on mental health court. And if mental health court wants to accept them, I know they'll only accept him if he's not on probation, because they only do pretrial.
Right.
I would be more than willing if both parties agree to hear a motion for new trial and grant the motion for new trial so he can go get the mental health treatment he needs. But what I can tell you, what I've learned about mental health is until he's clean and sober, they're not going to get a good reading on his mental health issue. So we're going to come back in 2 weeks, Ms. Ferguson.
I have a vacation letter on file. I'll be out, but I'll have some from the office.
All right. Or if you want to appear by Zoom, that's fine.
I'll be in Europe,
Oh, what part?
Croatia, Budapest, Austria as well.
I've never been to, those are the places that I want to visit. They tell me Croatia is beautiful.
Yes, that's what I hear as well. I'll be sure to let you know when I get.
Okay. Norma, what date? Yes. All right. So we'll be back on September 26th. Yes. And if you could tell them it's really urgent, and I know that they're overbooked, but he wants the help and he desperately needs it. Okay. All right, Mr. Gary, we're going to bring you back on September 26th. If everything is done before then, we'll bring you back sooner than that, okay? All right, and I'm really trying to do this to help you because I don't want to wake up tomorrow morning and there's somebody on the side of the road dead and they tell me it's Mr. Gary, and I could have done this to help you, okay?
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Like, I feel like I was stuck here because of my brother, and I still want to be around, but I want a chance to prove it myself.
Okay.
And is there anything I can do to prove it, to prove the 2 weeks to show you it?
No, because here's the thing.
I'm sorry.
No. But Mr. Gary, if you were tested today, it's going to be positive.
Yes, ma'am.
And you knew you were coming to court today.
Yes, ma'am.
And knowing that you were coming to court today, if you could stop it and do it yourself, you would have said, you know what? I need to be clean for court, because you've been in court before. You know that usually I test people whether or not they are positive for drugs or not. But what I can tell you, if you're using meth every day, you need inpatient treatment. I mean, it's not a bad thing. And I guarantee you, if you end up with inpatient treatment and you work the program, you're going to look completely different, probably in 2 months' time than how you look now. Okay. Now, you said you lost your brother, and I'm sorry for that. But if you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for your brother, because I know your brother loved you, right? And your brother probably wants the best for you. And right now, you're using drugs is not the best for you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we're going to see you on September 26th. All right. All right. Thank you.